I see it clearly in my daily departed. Sometimes I wish you could have seen me when I started. I know it took me a long time, a long grind going to it. A lot of long nights I put into it.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 3. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to kind of talk about what's going on today. We currently have people scaling the sides of Capitol Hill building, protesting the election results. And I'm not gonna lie, I can understand their frustration, but I don't understand their method behind it. Because democracy is, hey, if I vote and I get in, you must respect the results of what happened. Okay, the same process that got you in is gonna get you out. So, in all fairness, had any of them been black, it would have been a massacre on Washington, without a doubt at all. So again, public disclaimer, just please be safe. Make sure you guys exercise your rights to vote. Make sure you guys are informed of what's going on. And again, always stay ahead of the curve. Don't let what's going on influence how you should feel about yourself or make you feel any lower than what the law kind of does for you, you know? To pick up from where we left off last week, we talked about credit cards and the different and ways that you can keep your credit at a certain level and just be informed of what your credit score is and where you're standing. Today, we're going to get into the different types of cards. Now again, we have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 credit cards. We're not really going to talk about what each card does, but I will get into how they are beneficial in the different types of credit cards that you're going to come across as you're applying for credit cards. So let's start with the most basic one. We have a Capital One Platinum card. The Capital One Platinum card was designed for people who are new to credit. It doesn't require any annual fee, doesn't require any previous history of credit. You just need to be able to apply for the card and get approved. Literally all the card says is that we understand that you're a new user to credit and we're going to trust you with a modest balance in the beginning, and then assuming that you can pay it off within the first 5 months, we'll raise your balance and show you that, hey, you have more credit at your disposal. That's literally your most basic form of credit. The only other thing outside of this would probably be a secured card. Secured card would look almost the exact same. I'm not showing you guys the front for exact reasons, of course. But a secured card would look the exact same. The only thing is the secured card requires you to put a certain amount of money on the card, and that becomes your current balance that you can use. So if you say, hey, it needs a minimum of $200 deposit, that $200 is your line of credit. So you can only use up to $200 to purchase anything that you choose to on that card. Secured cards are then graduated to what I have here in front of me, just the regular Platinum MasterCard. And then from there, you have your first 2 lines of what is considered entry credit. Okay, so next we get into my favorite kind of cards, which are rewards cards. Because honestly, we all spend money, and I feel like if we're really gonna take advantage of that, we need to be rewarded for it. We're gonna go with the American Express. I won't be disclosing limits here because I feel like that's something that'll get me in trouble. But I feel like one way that rewards cards benefit you is because for any average purchase that you're making, you're getting back a percentage of that by your card. So on average, I have Hulu. I spend about $100 a month on Hulu. Now, we can equate that to $1,200 on the year. And I could have used any card here to give me rewards back for it, but I chose American Express because they give me back 6%. So, certain cards will incentivize you to use them in certain places. Amex gives me 6% back on streaming services, and they also give me 6% back on grocery stores. So, if I'm going shopping for groceries, use the American Express. I'm using Netflix or Hulu and I'm paying for it, American Express. Certain cards will benefit you in certain areas, and that's one of the favorite ones because it's literally something that's automatic. And while the card may come with a $95 annual fee, I make more in rewards off of it from the year. So then that annual fee is not only taken care of already, but I also have a little bit of extra money to play with from American Express, allowing me to use their card wherever. Next, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite category, food. Capital One Savor. The Capital One Savor one gives you 3% back on any food purchases, meaning whether you go to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, you want to have a fancy dinner at Ruth Chris, wherever you're going, Capital One gives you 3% back. It's probably my most used card. If you guys don't know me, I eat a lot of food, and that card has been swiped, tapped, pretty much any and everywhere. It's one of my favorite cards because it looks pretty cool, and and the 3% back goes a really far way. My only other card that I can say is really beneficial is probably going to be the Apple Card. The Apple Card works because it gives you 2% back whenever you use Apple Pay. So if you've got a tap to pay, Apple Pay covers that. They give you 2% cash back every single day rather than waiting every month with these cards. They also give you 3% back at certain retailers, i.e. Apple. And they also give you the option to finance purchases at Apple with no interest. And that's one of my favorite features of this card, because literally I can go buy a MacBook right now, get the rewards back for it tomorrow, and then finance that MacBook over the next 12 months. It's probably one of the best things ever. It has gotten me in a little bit of trouble. I've gone crazy maybe once or twice, but in any event, I always had time to pay it off. Certain cards will reward you in different ways. So while those 3 cards may reward me in cash, my other card here at the Bank of America, it rewards me in miles. So I plan to do a lot of flying. I wanted to do a lot of flying last year, but COVID. So me getting this card, I wanted to make sure that, hey, if I ever go flying, I want to have a certain bank where I have a ton of miles points that I can bank and use when it comes time for me to pay for my flights, because who doesn't like free flights? I've racked up a decent amount of rewards on this, and when things do resume and go back to normal, that Bank of America card will be used specifically just for flying, unless I get another card that is better for me in that instance. But generally, rewards cards are probably my favorite category. They give you the best bang for your buck, literally, and they're kind of one of the easiest categories to get into once you step up from regular secured and just regular credit cards. It's probably one of the best categories that I can think of. The only thing after that is pretty much charge cards. So charge cards is probably the one card I don't have on this table. Not yet. But charge cards are different from all of these cards here because they literally have no limit. Charge cards, okay, let me repeat that one more time. Charge cards have no limit at all. I can go across the limit of all of these cards, and while they may be pretty high, charge cards have no limit. You can literally go and buy anything you want. You can go to buy a MacBook, you can go to Saks, you can go wherever you want, and you can literally just start swiping. It's a good and a bad thing. I think that's one reason why I don't have it yet. Outside of that, charge cards are, how do I put this? They're not just cards that have no limit, because they also reward you on purchases as well. So they're kind of like rewards cards on crack, literally. But if we're being honest, most charge cards are issued through American Express. They carry a really high annual fee, meaning that you have to pay for the card every year. I know the most famous card that we can think of is the Amex Platinum card. The card has like a $550 annual fee. Now, while they may seem outlandish, most of the benefits of the card are going to reward you for spending money, not only. 2, they'll pay you for literally having the card in certain aspects. Like, I believe I looked it up recently, and they have something, they give you back Uber credits every month, equating to about $360. So that's already deducted from your annual fee. So, in some regards, charge cards are beneficial for certain people. They haven't made a way into my life yet, and you probably won't anytime soon. But they're probably one of the most rarest cards that you'll see, and don't get caught up in wanting to apply for one just because like it looks good, because in all reality, charge cards can get you into a lot of trouble. But again, it's all about managing your credit and knowing like what you're doing to determine how one card will work for you over the other. And in a realistic sense, everybody should know what they're spending their money on in order to get rewarded for what they're doing. Because ultimately, we don't want to just have a card that does nothing for us at this point. Because if we're spending money, we might as well be rewarded for it, you know? So I was wrong. There's actually one more type of card I don't have on this table, which are balance transfer cards. So when we get carried away with spending, which most of us can, balance transfer cards come in a case where if you want to move one balance from one card to another. So usually balance transfer cards will incentivize you to move money from, let's say, your American Express to them, and then they would give you the option to pay it off with no interest for X amount of months. I know Citibank offers a really good one. That's probably one of the best ones because I know they give you at least 18 months to pay something off with no interest. So if you're asking me, balance transfer cards are rare. Like, I'm not saying everybody needs one, but in any event where you find yourself into like a really high debt load because you went crazy one day in Vegas, balance transfer cards come in handy for that. There aren't many qualifications to be approved. You're gonna need a pretty decent credit score, of course. With any of these cards, you're gonna need that as well. But in most cases, balance transfer cards are good for you offloading debt to pay it off over time. As long as you're responsible, you won't really need them all too much, but in any event, they do come in handy. All right, in closing, I have cards issued to me by Bank of America, Chase, Capital One again, American Express, and Apple. Those cards, they all fit into my life because they all reward me for doing things that I'm going to do anyway. If you're going to be rewarded for spending your money, go through any of these cards, but just make sure you know where you're spending it. As long as you're spending it safely and carefully, you'll keep your credit scores high, you'll keep your balances low. Sure, you can pay an annual fee here and there, but just don't go crazy. Literally, the worst thing that you can do is bomb your credit score. It literally says so much about you when you go do anything, whether it be get a home, whether it be go get a car. Your credit score says so much. It literally speaks for you the moment you walk through that door. So, just be responsible about it. I'm not saying you need 7 credit cards. I'm not saying you have to need more than 5. Just think about where you're spending your money. Look up who rewards you for how you're spending it. I'll post links to the cards below so you can also get an avid description of them if I didn't do it justice for you here. And just, again, be responsible. Credit is nothing to play with. It is literally the detriment of most people. And in all honesty, please, again, be careful. Don't let credit get the best of you. It's not something that's really easy to fix. No matter how many people can say, hey, I can fix your credit for you. In all reality, it all comes down to you and how responsible you are. So, again, you want to be wealthy, not rich. Don't put yourself in a ditch by spending money on your credit cards. It's not going to help you. Just be careful. Thank you.